So here we are just 3 weeks away from spring. And with spring quickly approaching, people are going to be working on their gardens, their decks, all sorts of things to make their houses look nicer. There are a lot of my fellow content creators out here that make planters out of fence pickets. And these planters are gorgeous, they're awesome, they do sell well, but I think a lot of the time, as woodworkers, we all feel that the planter market is saturated. And there's a lot of people out here that have been able to get into that planter market, and they actually have large stocks, a large amount of planters built up. We're going to look at a couple of different issues with those larger planters that people may have that we're going to try to solve today. Here's a few quick questions for you. Number one, how much space do you actually have to put large planters, multiple large planters, either in your shop, around your garage, or anywhere on your property where you can put these where you don't want them to get weathered? For a lot of us, we don't have a lot of space. I technically work out of one car garage, which I steal the other half of the garage whenever I need to. But a lot of the time, we don't have a lot of space, and you don't have a lot of storage space on top of that. And if you're putting different stains and different colors on your planters, you don't want them sitting outside getting weathered through the rain and snow and everything like that. So today I'm going to show you two different builds that you're going to be able to do. They're fast, easy, very minimal tools needed to actually make these smaller planters. Now, there are a few different reasons that these smaller planters are good for you to make and can be quite profitable at that. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'll go over some of the wood that we're going to use and some of the tools that we're going to use. And anybody that's starting out getting into woodworking, these are going to be nice, easy, simple projects for you to do to make some extra money and maybe even make a full-time business out of it. Let's go ahead and dive straight into it, and we'll go over some of the things that we need. All right, first and foremost, we're going to need fence pickets to make fence picket planters. If you watched one of my previous builds, I actually used these fence pickets in another build. So I have a few of these already cut up, but we do have to cut them a bit smaller for our final builds here. Okay, so next you're going to need 2x2s. Now these are from another previous build that I had, so these are leftovers, but 2x2s, or you can buy 2x4s and rip those in half. There are a couple of different ways to actually put these together. You can either use a brad nailer or screws, but since it is smaller, I think the brad nailer is going to work fine. And since these planters are going to be used here on the back patio, we are actually going to be able to stress test this throughout the year to make sure that this is not going to be a problem, which I don't think it's going to be. You're going to want some wood glue, which this glue here, the Gorilla Glue, is similar to the Titebond 2. I would prefer to use the Titebond 3, but since these are going to be in the house, these aren't for any customers, I'm going to use the Titebond 2 to actually see how well this holds up. And hopefully by the end of the year, these aren't falling apart or damaged in any way from using different glue. But if I were to make these for a customer, Titebond 3 is the way you want to go because that is waterproof. This is water resistant. You're going to want your choice of stains if you want to stain it, but that's completely optional. You don't have to have any stain, and you don't have to stain them. This is without saying. You're going to need a tape measure, writing utensil, or some way to mark your boards. And to top everything off, your handy dandy saw. And it can be any type of saw, like I've said in previous builds. It can be a miter saw, jigsaw, hand saw with a miter box. It's completely up to you the way that you want to do this. With just those minimal tools, these builds are super easy, super simple, and I know that you can go ahead and knock these out. So let's go ahead and get to making some of our final cuts and measurements, and I'll go over what we're doing and why we're doing it. So stick around and let's see what it looks like. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and start off by measuring 5/8 because that is going to be how far these sides are going to have to sit recessed into the other part of the other side. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to measure out 6 inches because we want the inside of this box to be 6 inches. So it'll be the 5/8 plus 6 inches. And then from there, we're going to add an additional 5/8, which will give you an overall length of 7 inches and 3/8. As we get these first sides cut down, don't forget your other 2 sides are going to be an even 6 inches because these will be the recessed sides. So we'll get those cut out as well at exactly 6 inches. Okay, so after we get all 4 sides cut down, we're going to go ahead and come over here, and very simple, very easy. Make sure you put your wood glue on there, get it nice spread out, be very liberal about it, make sure it's all on there, and just start putting everything together. We're going to use simple butt joints here. We're not going to do any miter cuts, just going to make it very simple. I ended up throwing in 3 brad nails, 1 on the bottom, 1 on the top, and then 1 in the center. I think that's going to be enough to hold these together just fine. And that's going to bring us into the bottom. We went ahead and cut that at 6 inches, and it was a nice snug fit. Went ahead and put the wood glue on, tapped it in, and threw brad nails in 3 on both sides. Okay, so now it's time. We need to go ahead and get the measurements for the stand, and this is going to vary depending on how large you make these planners or what type of look that you are going to go for. I went ahead and went with 5 1/4 for the width of this, and it looks pretty nice. So that is what I wanted to go with. By no means do these have to be 45-degree miters, but I went ahead and made those 45-degree miter cuts and started putting this together. Make sure you put some wood glue on there, nail both of those together just like you see in the video here, and we'll do that 2 times. The first one, you know the size of my head, it's huge, so it kind of got in the way. So I'm going to go ahead and redo a small portion right here for you. I'll let you go ahead and get to see that. Okay, so that's going to go ahead and lead us into getting the bottom portion, the bottom support that goes across. And all you're going to do is measure the box. And from there, after you measure the box, get your cuts. And once again, you're going to see some scientific measuring here. And I went ahead and lined it up to what looked good to me. And I marked on the bottom side there. So doing that is going to allow us to take those cross members, put those on there, get your head out of the way, and we're going to go ahead and nail those together. Once it's nailed this first way, doing the next one is going to be relatively easy. If you take a second, watch me kind of hurt my brain, and went ahead and brought this piece over. We're going to get this wood glued up, and we'll get that attached as well. Oh, look at that, light bulb turned on. He said, oh, I guess we can do it just like this. So we're going to go ahead and get this glued up and nailed together as well. Go ahead and get that done on both sides, and you're going to be good to go. Look at this. Well, bam, magic. Throw that box in there, and I think it looks pretty good so far, but we won't be able to actually tell until we get it stained and thrown together. So watch me do a little flippity flip and a flippity flip, put them together, and we're going to go ahead and stain these off camera and start to put the other box together. So just as simple as last time, we're going to do butt end joints again, but this is going to be a 12-inch long box, and we're going to go ahead and cut those out and start putting these together. Okay, now since I am the king of lost footage and definitely not found footage, this is where we are going to go ahead. We measured out the bottom portion of that box so that we knew what our cross measurements were going to be, but absolutely none of the legs were recorded. What we did was, if you take a look, there are 15-degree angles at the bottom and the top. You also have that cross member that has a 15-degree on the angles. Now, when you make that cut and put all of these together, which we're about to do here, that sets up and that becomes our base, our legs, as you see right here. And it goes together nice, simply. Throw your brad nails in, make sure everything's good. The only thing I would say is if I were to make this and make anything bigger than 12 or 18 inches, I would definitely try to use screws through this, or even better, if you want to hide those screws, pocket hole screws. So if anybody wants to see me do something like that, go ahead and leave it down in the comment box below and I can do something like that for you guys. If you guys have stuck around this long into the video, I wanted to tell you I greatly appreciate it and wanted to go over a couple of things. Myself and this channel are a huge supporter on combating veteran suicide, and every day this is what we work for. This is what we do, and this is what keeps us going. So I will go ahead and link my Patreon here. Anything that is donated to Patreon actually goes into building memorial plaques for any surviving relatives of these military members that do not win their fight against depression. And a portion of anything that's sold in my Etsy shop also goes to this same mission of mental health awareness. So anything you guys can do greatly helps the channel. Thank you. All right, so there you have it. These are two different designs, a little bit different boxes that you can offer for your customers, but they're small. They can go onto any deck, any patio, a front porch, a front stoop, any place that they're kind of trying to make it look nicer. And the good thing about these is people can put plants in here that they want to bring inside, keep out from the weather. So these can go year round. They sell year round. You do not have to specifically wait for planter season. I see some of these 12-inch boxes here without a stand, just a box, just stained, going for, I don't know, $40, $45. So I think with the stand included in that, I think you can sell these for more without doing much work. I will get these listed and see what they sell for. Like I said, the box alone selling for $40. This is just giving you two different designs of things that you can make. One's a lot easier. The other one adds a 15-degree angle just to give you an angle here, but super easy. Anybody can do them. If I can make them, you can definitely make them. So if you like the video, please hit the like button, subscribe, comment down in the comment box below if you have any questions, concerns, and I appreciate everybody sticking around. I will catch you guys in the next video.